Apostle Paul prayed that the eyes of our understanding would be enlightened, that we would be able to see things through the perspective of God's eyes. When Jesus addressed the crowds about John the Baptist, he said, "What did you come to see when you came to see John?" He said, What were you looking for? And he said, "Let me tell you, because if you did not see the greatest Old Testament prophet that ever lived, you didn't see John." Now let's rewind to the time where the prophet Samuel is looking for the next king of Israel. He goes to the house of Jesse. He's got 8 sons. And Samuel says, "Let me see your sons, because one of them is a king." So Samuel goes through all of the sons and he goes, "I don't see the next king of Israel." He goes, "Do you have another son?" And Jesse says, "I have my youngest son, but he's David. He's little, he's young, he's only good for being a shepherd." Samuel says, "Bring him out." And when Samuel sees him, he says, "Behold, the next king of Israel," and he anoints him. Now let's fast forward a little bit. Goliath is intimidating the whole nation of Israel. The armies of Israel are afraid to fight Goliath because they're convinced that he's an apex warrior. He's been a warrior since he was a young man. He is a giant, and they're convinced that he's unbeatable. David comes to bring his brothers lunch. He takes one look at Goliath and says, "Why is everybody afraid to fight this guy? He's just an uncircumcised Philistine." He says, "If none of you will fight him, I'll fight him." And so we know that David looks at him and he says, basically, "I am the apex warrior and you will be my prey." And we know how that ended. Goliath lost, David won. Great victory, because David was able to see in the spirit. Well, let's fast forward to today, right now. Been a long, hot summer, a lot of things going on, a lot of opportunity to look and be frustrated, angry, scared. And when you look at the mobs of people doing things you don't agree with, what do you see? Do you see people that you want punished, that you want hurt, that you just want them thrown in jail, locked, throw the key away? Let me tell you what I see, because when I look at these mobs of young people, what I see is potential. I see people who could be the next generation of psalmists, of pastors, of prophets, evangelists, teachers, the next generation of worshipers. They just need an experience with Jesus. So, brothers and sisters, as you're watching everything unfold, and as you look, rather than just pronounce the problem, maybe it would be better to see through the eyes of God and speak the potential and pray for these people that they would see Jesus. Well, God bless you. This is Pastor Rick. Until next week, remember, with Jesus, there's always hope and love.